I'm Eric Loy, and welcome to Eric Loy Interviews. On this podcast, we talk to folks from the VTuber community about their channels, their talents, their stories, where they come from, and their plans for the future. We're joined on the show by Hangyakuu. Hi.
Hello there.
Please introduce yourself to everybody.
Hello everyone. I am Hangyakuu Eldorichi. Uh, People usually call me by my title name, which is the Black Pharaoh. I am a variety streamer and trying to change the outlook of VTubers everywhere.
Okay, how are you trying to do that?
Breaking the status quo of what a VTuber should be and what they have to do to be popular.
Hmm. How did you come about having that as a goal?
Well, this is just a sub goal compared to what my real goal is, but this has always been a goal even before I became a VTuber.
Okay.
To change, just to change what it means to be a streamer in general.
Mm.
My old name way before this was a Renegator.
Mm-hmm. So you've
Uh,
always kind of been outside the box.
I'll swim up the river no matter what.
Well, there's a windmill. Go tilt at it. That's one way to go. The the so you've been streaming for a little while now.
Yeah, quite a while.
Yeah. When'd you get started?
As a VTuber or as a streamer in general?
Well, both.
Um, a VTuber 2 years ago.
Hmm.
Streaming in general, I would have to say since high school year of freshman.
So it's been a bit. You've been on and been able to adapt, adopt, and improve, as the old saying says. As
Mhm.
so, what made what made you decide to turn to the VTubing side of it?
To I know for people who becomes VTubers, they don't like the main reason is because they don't want to show themselves on camera. They feel comfortable playing behind characters. I usually voice act back then when I was in high school, so I'm used to being behind characters.
Hmm.
Granted, I used to show my face a lot, but went into VTubing because it was more creative. I could express myself even further mentally than I do physically.
Now, I can see that. It's kind of the same reason. I don't understand why people don't, especially with fantasy. I mean, and this is a little bit. This is off topic, but bear with the old man here, please. Uh,
No, you're good.
when you talk about fantasy movies and things that require a whole lot of effects, I don't understand why people don't lean more toward animation and using that as because you can do so many more things with it, and you can be more creative and create an entire world around yourself with it.
You could give a message without needing to say the message.
Hmm. Yeah, it really does. It does give you that opportunity to create uh, your own world around you when you're giving that message. And I'm kind of surprised that more people haven't. Of course, a lot of people are doing YouTubing or VTubing now, so I'm not too surprised at that. What made you decide on the model that you're using?
Oh, this was always a art style of myself since I was in high school. I would used to draw little characters or little cut scenes during class, which usually would get me in trouble.
Hmm. Yeah, I think we all did that, even back in the old days. Uh, there's
The
some.
the
Go ahead.
the form that I'm taking now is only stage one.
Mm.
Now that I hit to the next stage in my streaming, this he will evolve. He will evolve into another stage.
All right, so that's something for folks to look forward to and keep following you with a little bit of a cliffhanger for everybody. When
Mhm.
you talked about having bigger goals, what are your bigger goals for the channel?
The my main and I don't want to hear any pity or anything for this,
Yeah,
but my main reasoning of streaming in general was to keep a promise. A
and
long time ago, I perform a lot. with with friends and family and school, but I cut my voice off because times was rough. You know how how kids was back then. Bullying was a strong thing. Being
Absolutely.
different
It still is in many
was
ways.
it still is, but not as like impactful
Right.
as it was back then.
And
So
being out on stage probably invited that quite a bit.
hmm that I wanted to stand out. That I didn't want to be in the shadows anymore.
Mm, I can't blame you there. It's very tough.
But but it forced me into the shadows. Back then, people treated me like a monster, uh, shunned me, even tried to hurt me and anyone who was associated with me. So I I met someone very special to me back then, and bless her soul that she's no longer with us. But her her wish was for me to give a message to the world, and I felt like the only way to do that is to go through this path. She wanted me to vocally sing something to the world.
Well, it's great that you have the opportunity to do that. If this were 30 years ago, this path wouldn't exist in the slightest. See, when I was in radio, me talking to you or anybody online like this would cost a mint and would sound like two people talking in tin cans. So it seems like that at least has come together for you to give you the opportunity,
Mhm.
and you've been able to take
I'm
advantage
not
of it.
gonna. I'm not gonna say like for everyone else. Like everyone has their own reasons of why they doing this.
Right.
But I'm not doing this for fame or glory.
Hmm.
I'm doing this to honor someone. And
Well,
once I do it, I'm probably gonna. I don't know. I might continue doing it, or I might step down.
are you enjoying yourself doing it right now?
I am meeting a lot of interesting people, different streamers from different universes.
Hmm.
It's great.
Well, it
I'm getting to expand my horizons instead of sitting here being in the outer plane.
yeah, it does do that. It is something to be able to interact with people around the world from where you're sitting, and
Mhm.
have people have not only that, but have people interested in watching you do this. You said you were being a performer earlier. Has that ever crossed your mind? And I'm out here in front of people from around the world.
Constantly, actually. I every time I check on my list of where people is watching me from, and
Mm.
amazed of all the countries who cares enough to watch me.
It's really an amazing technology that you're able to do that. And there's positives and negatives to it, obviously, and we've seen both. Um,
Mostly negatives.
yeah, yeah, but there are many positives too, and such as what you're able to do, and folks who have found a way to express themselves in a way with that little extra of shield of having a model or a persona, and it just gives them that much courage to get out there and express themselves. Did you find that,
Yeah,
or when you joined into YouTubing, or was that something that you didn't really think of?
it didn't really cross my mind. I take my beatings like everyone else,
Hmm.
in and out of character. It changes nothing for me.
Mm-hmm.
It's something I see it as this, right? The hardships that people throws you in, the insults, the attacks, the world is going to get harder, but it's only getting harder because the world is afraid of you.
Mm, I like that. I like that. I know that there were people that were afraid of me when I was on the radio, for all sorts of different reasons. Um, and then my folks that I owed money to were certainly afraid because I wasn't making enough money to do anything with it. I have long stories. The Now what you're doing at the moment, you mentioned that we mentioned kind of a secondary goal to change the landscape of streaming. Now, what do you actually mean by that?
Over the lifetimes of me watching, observing, and becoming a streamer, it's it's tough being a streamer nowadays. Let's be honest. Everyone suspects you to be like everyone else, and then even if you try to stand out for it, you get shut down because it links to some other character or some kind of actions in another person. You know how many times back in the days when I used to stream myself visually without my character that I got paired with Markiplier just because of my voice?
Mm. Yeah,
Or when
I
or
can
when I
imagine
collabed with
that.
my best friend, I was compared to Game Grumps nonstop.
Yeah, yeah. It's people will try to relate you to something that they already know, and sometimes, many times, maybe most of the times, they'll use that rather than bothering to find out exactly what you're all about. Um, how do you try to change that?
Right now, I can't change anything as I am now.
Mhm.
My goal is to get big enough to the point that where I can start making moves, take it out the people who are setting the trends and eliminating them.
You're gonna stretch their horizons, is what you're gonna do.
Say that there's more to us than just an image, just looks, just a voice.
You know, the pigeonholing is very tough to avoid, no matter what. That folks will like to put you in a box and stuff you in a category, even when you're not in that category. At least you don't see yourself in that category. Is that something you've had to face before?
Yeah, many times. Because back then I used to be a just a regular 2D fighter and Smite streamer. So people will only watch me because I just play Smite or challenge people into fighting games called the Endless Gauntlet.
And you,
It,
yeah, that kind of became your character rather than what you wanted to do with it.
yeah,
I
but
can.
now I changed that. I'm out of that box. I'm free from it.
Mhm.
I now do what I want to do. I play horror games. I interact with people. I sometimes I have a talk, sit down talk show to give advice for people or help them with their daily problems.
Well, there's always. I mean, there's so many things that VTubers are able to do, and if you can find your own niche, and then you've got, I mean, and you enjoy what you're doing, you're forcing yourself into something that I believe is very important, and that's you can call that for any aspect in life, but for something like this, I imagine it's also very important.
It's my life goal at that point. I I focus this more than anything, and I realize that this is my coming because the fact is of how I grew up.
Hmm.
Uh, my father, he was a DJ. My mother was a party animal.
Hmm.
So coming to this route, being a performer, entertaining the masses, it's all I'm really good at. Even back then, when I graduated from high school, I used to work as a local roadie for my state. Just set up stages, tuning guitars, make sure amps is all right, making sure the people who's got to perform is ready to go.
And that's a specialty in itself. And
Hmm.
we used to have I grew up in central Illinois, and one of the big scenes around here was Champaign, Illinois, which college town in between Chicago, St. Louis, Indianapolis, had a lot of bands going through, would stop off in between. So you had a lot of big name bands show up for these small groups, but they always had somebody there with them to take care of what's going on. Otherwise, nothing gets done. No matter
Yeah,
what the bands say, nothing gets done.
we are called heroes with no names. We don't do it for glory. The audience, the crowd, that's our reward.
Yeah, it was fun back in the 80s, back when we had real music. Oh, sorry, I'm
Ah,
getting that old man
no, that
category again.
no. I relate to you. I relate to you. You got this.
Yeah, yeah,
The
we
times now, we still have good rock and metal music that is still real, especially where I live at.
hmm yeah, it's still there. You have to work a little harder to find it because we don't have like the radio and exposure like we did in the old days. We had things called top 40 stations, which played the top 40 songs of every genre, and you could you could hear a R&B song followed by a new wave song followed by a metal song, all in the same 15-minute period. Try doing that now. That's not going to happen.
Yeah,
Not even on
yeah,
an
it's a
oldie
lot
station.
awful.
Not even an oldie station. Now you got me ranting on old radio. Now that nobody wants to hear
It's
that.
I want to hear it. I'm fascinated about it.
Well, one thing I can you mentioned that your father's a DJ. I think
Yeah,
that
it's chalky.
I think that really a lot of the folks on YouTube on YouTubing these days are the modern equivalent of the old radio disc jockeys because let's face it, there are a limited number of games people will watch, but if I wanted to see somebody play, Stardew Valley, now the thing is up, I could probably go on and find 20 some people doing it at any particular time. But it's the personality of the people doing it that people come back to. Kind of like the old radio days. You could hear the song on so many stations, but it's the personality of the DJ that brings it back. I think you've already got that. I think you figured that out already.
Um, I don't know. I feel like I still have a long way to go.
Well, but you want to
I
have that individualism that really does draw in the people that will continue to come back.
I will hope that they come back. There's nothing that is more fascinating to me than humanity itself.
Hmm. Well, and it is it's going to be it's about as complex as it gets. And the trying to keep so many different people entertained more than once is not an easy thing. And my hat's off to all you folks who continually get on there and try, and to folks like yourself that could continue to try new things. It to me it takes a lot of courage to get out there and do something like this. Um, I certainly wouldn't have had it when I was younger, and I really don't have it now. I don't have the. First of all, I'm too old. I don't have the
You're
the.
never too old.
Oh,
Let's be honest.
I'm pretty old. But it
Have you seen Schwarzenegger? He's still doing it.
yeah.
He
Well,
still got it.
he's also built like a like a planet, and I'm built more like a like a marshmallow. There's a big different story there.
Did you
The
see the trailer to the new Ghostbusters 3 movie? He's still there. He's
yeah
still doing it.
yeah
It's just
yeah.
not stopping those guys.
Well, this is my outlet now, and I'm very happy to be able to do this. I'm very happy able to talk to the different folks and the different backgrounds. But now, what are your goals for this year for your channel? Have you got anything specifically set up?
Uh, for one, I'm starting to give back to my community now that they helped me reach level 2.
Hmm.
Giving away rewards and gifts that I have over the years that just been sitting in storage, ready to get out of here.
Yeah.
I am also going back into my roots. So as much as people knows me so far, VTuber is not the only place y'all can see me. I am also a VR chat streamer.
And is that what's that on? What stream service?
That's a it's still on Twitch, but it's a virtual reality platform.
Oh,
So
okay.
now people who enjoys my company, who likes to watch me, can come visit me in the virtual world itself to hang out, play some games, listen to some music, just vibe.
Yeah, that is another great aspect, and another thing that people will have to introduce and incorporate as the format and the venue continues to grow, uh, and people will continue to do that. You'll see people coming up with all sorts of new innovations every time, uh, every day, new innovations. Um, the games that you're playing right now, what are you into at the moment?
Right now I went back to the past actually.
Hmm.
I went to go back. Hold on, let me pull up my list because I was just doing it, playing it like 2 days ago. I went back to play Killer is Dead from Grasshopper Studios.
Okay, what's that all about?
Killer is Dead is about a somewhat vampiric mercenary going down to hunt down other people who is sabotaging the world, and his main target is a man named David who is on the moon.
Uh-huh.
This is one of Grasshopper's first game that he ever made. Most people know Grasshopper Studios for their earlier titles, which is No More Heroes.
Okay. I've heard that game for sure. So was one that you played before and just has been a favorite of yours?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I also saw that you've been occasionally collaborating on a Danganronpa game. Is that still going on?
Oh, actually, we're about to start in this month. We're gonna soon start our next sequel, or at least the final chapter. That is with a good friend of mine named Tragic. He he voice acts the main character while I voice act Nagito, or as people likes to call me now, Nagiho.
Well, that's a train trip in itself. It goes all sorts of different
Mm-hmm.
directions. That looks like to be a fun game to stream, and certainly if you're doing the voice acting for it, it's going to make it even more fun for you and the audience. The
I also been doing D&D as my part time thing most of the time for my streams.
Now that's something that I did as a kid, but doing it in the early 1980s is certainly a lot different than doing it now.
I do believe it's a lot more complicated,
Yeah,
but I do believe back in the old days, the game was a lot more harder.
yeah, it could be depending on your DM, of course, and what you didn't want to do is be a DM and have somebody who is extremely ridiculously smart as as one of the people playing, because then it just ruined
Oh, that
everything.
you didn't want me in your games then.
Well,
My DM is already getting driving crazy.
well, you can really break them in a hurry, or could anyway. We had one in a little story that a DM. I had found a staff that supposedly was from a god that gave it a so many charges, and one of the charges was the ability to move almost at the speed of light.
Why would they give you that?
And I'm
Why
like,
would they give
I,
you that?
I'm thinking, I've basically won the game. If I just use it one time, I could in less than half a second, I've
I feel
killed
like
all the
there's a
bad guys.
catch. Eh?
I just, I mean, it was a priest at the time. I couldn't, or cleric. I couldn't use any sharp weapons, but you don't need any if you're going that fast.
You are the sharp weapon.
That's right. So he said, so I kind of pointed that out to him, and he said, "Well, the gods met at you. You're gonna have to bring back two dragon. You're gonna have to kill two dragons." To go, okay, I did it. I
How
just,
did you do it? I took a step forward.
I, I went completely around the planet. As a matter of fact, I killed all of the dragons. That's infinity number of points, I believe.
People don't realize you have to be careful how you word things. If you're going to give someone a powerful item, there has to be some kind of negative effect to that item.
No, he was upset. He also was upset that we would take a dead body and throw it in front of us in every room, set off all his traps.
But it works.
It definitely worked. He just got so mad.
Who needs to tech traps when you could throw a bone?
That's right. And we were supposed to take that dead orc and throw him in the room, and all the traps go off. Okay, we're fine. But those days. But nowadays you practically have to know 6 different languages in order to get started. It looks like.
Somewhat. It's debatable. Eh?
Mm,
It depends on your DM, definitely for sure.
yeah. It is kind of fun to mess with the DM though, but they can mess with you even quicker.
Oh, I'm messing with one right now. Right now, one of the sessions I play is I play as a character called, which you probably already know because this is our time, Music Meister. Eh?
Oh yeah.
I brought him into the D&D world, eh?
Oh boy.
And he's upset with me because one, as a bard of glamour, I am not going the typical route. He was like, "Oh, you're here to riz a dragon, aren't you?" No, I'm here to riz my god because I'm also a cleric. Eh?
Yeah. I say now he's got to come up with something because you already come up with something. And he
He
starts.
can't. He's right now. He's having a hard time killing me because how my character works is I can fight, but I'm playing Pokemon. I'm playing chess on the field. I'm moving my own teammates forcefully. I'm playing Music Meister as Music Meister. I'll play my music and I'm moving Orc, attack, Archer, dodge, Monk, get over here.
Oh, that's the worst thing you can do is basically take control from the DM while you're playing. He
didn't realize he didn't realize what I was doing at first because of the fact he was like, "Oh, you're just playing music and having fun." Wait a minute. Why is every player could be able to be moved in my reaction?
Oh man, are you streaming that? Are you streaming it online?
Oh yeah, every for Music Meister specifically is every Monday at 8:00.
All right.
And for my other cutter, which is me just playing me inside a game, which is Hangyakuu playing with the Fire Charmers for every other Friday.
Well, folks, we're gonna
play.
Go ahead.
Oh, sorry. For the Fire Charmers, I play a monk warlock who has the abilities of every class in the game passively.
Oh man. Well, folks who want to check out what you have to offer, we are going to have all the links coming up on the description for the interview. It has been a pleasure talking to you, and I hope we can do it again. And I imagine you're going to just continue pressing the boundaries.
Oh, always. I must set everyone free.
Thank you for listening to Eric Loy Interviews. Join us again next time when we talk to another member of the always interesting VTuber community.